So it is Monday night. Podcast Combat Sports, everybody. Frank Palumbo, welcome back. It is Monday, May 9th, coming off a back-to-back fight night weekend. Friday night we had, what did we have? We had the New England Muay Thai Championships at the University of Vermont, brought to you by UVM Judo Club and Extreme Combat Promotions with Kathy Richardson and Kyle Santelli. I'm going to go through the Extreme Combat schedule coming up. May 21st at Rouse's Point, New York, we have Trahan versus LePage. I think that's going to be one hell of a main event. June 4th, Barry Auditorium. It's going to be Grant versus Robinson. Saturday, July 2nd, St. Albans, Vermont. Lily versus George. I believe they're teammates. I talked to TJ George a little bit Friday night at University of Vermont. Excellent show, by the way. Good fights, good competitive fights. Then July 16th, Rutland, Vermont at the Holiday Inn. Main event not yet determined. And Saturday, August 6th, Central Vermont Moose Lounge, Williamstown, Vermont. Main event to be determined. Let's see if I can find those Muay Thai results. Come to find out, results not yet posted. But I should know them. I judged all the fights. So let's see. Ali Abdul-Zarak, he won, I believe, a split decision. He was the first fight of the night. Derek Meunier, opponent, called it, I believe, in the third round. Conor McKenna won a split decision. That was a close fight. My internet is absolutely failing me tonight. Thank goodness I don't need it. My internet is just atrocious. It's killing me. It's killing me tonight. Anyway, I got Maria Kritikos on the podcast tonight. She won her Muay Thai bout Friday night. She captured the New England's Women's Strawweight Muay Thai Championship by defeating Kristina Lafferty when she failed to answer the bell in the fourth round. Now, Maria is from Baan Muay Thai in Lebanon, New Hampshire, and she's going to come on, and I'll ask her about the fight. I'll ask her about her future plans. It was interesting. I was judging the fight, so I give the first round to Kristina Lafferty. I thought she controlled the range. I thought she landed better strikes. I thought she was busier. However, second round was a completely different story. Maria made adjustments, and I thought, it was close, but clearly won that second round. And then started to really widen that gap in the third round. So, of course, fourth round, I'm like, all right, let's see. Is Kristina going to come back, or is Maria going to widen this gap even more? And I don't know if Kristina failed to answer the bell or if the towel was thrown in. But the fight was over. Congratulations in order. They wrapped the belt around Maria. So I have her. I'm actually going to call momentarily. Oh, yeah. We were going to get on and do our segment about an hour ago. I'm holding my phone. I'm playing videos. I'm casting them to the TV for my kids. Funny Pixar videos and stuff. And my phone, I'm holding my phone. My phone goes off. It says, new voicemail. So I listen to it right away. It's Maria. Hey, I'm just calling in to the podcast. What's going on? I hope I have the right number. Give me a call back. I was like, I'm putting my kids to bed. Put my kids to bed. So I text her back. She's like, I'm eating. So now I've got to know, what are you eating for dinner, Maria? You're a strawweight. Are you cutting a lot of weight to get to strawweight? Is this a celebratory dinner? Is this like, are you splurging? Are you done with the weight cut for a while? Is this a spoil me dinner? The answer to these and other burning questions momentarily. And this is Maria calling in. Hello? Let's see. I just got to get my app running.
Okay.
So how are you feeling?
I feel pretty good, actually.
You went 3 3 full rounds, and
Yes, sir.
didn't seem to take very much damage. But it looked like it was a pretty tough fight. You were pressing forward the whole time, but like, did you take any damage, or how'd you feel in the fight?
During the fight, I felt a little bit surprised. I didn't expect her to be as tough as she was, to be completely honest. Probably because I just came from another fight, and in my head, I was very confident and in the right place and everything, and she came out a lot stronger than expected. So it was good, though. It was definitely good for me to experience that and, be surprised.
Well, yeah, it looks like you made some adjustments there from the first round to the second round. I was asked to go in and judge the fights. I gave the first round to Kristina. I thought she was busy. I thought she controlled the range. But
Yep.
The second round, it was pretty clear that you were starting to take over. So what adjustments did you make in that second round or between rounds?
Well, I'd happen to agree with you. I do think she probably won the first round on that one. I definitely needed to move more forward and be more aggressive and, like you said, control the ring a little bit more. And I pushed the pace a little bit more with her, I think, in the second round as well, and just try to be stronger than her.
And what did your coach talk to you about between rounds?
He definitely wanted me to be more aggressive with her. Definitely. He wanted me to kind of bully her a little bit more and be in her face and not let her come forward on me.
Yeah, it definitely looks like you did that. You really started to take over in that second round. Tell me about between the second round and the third round. Was it just kind of like more of the same, or do you kind of look to see, she might make these adjustments. Let's be ready here. What kind of happened between that second and third round?
I mean, it was very similar. She was definitely getting a little bit more tired, and you could see it after the second round. She was definitely tired, and it was definitely time to be more in her face. Be stronger than her as much as possible, use a little bit more of my tricks.
Do you feel like your confidence grew a lot between from that second round to the third round? Because she was getting more tired, and you seemed to not tire. So did that kind of help you along?
Yeah, it definitely did. I definitely saw on her face that she got much more tired in the third round, and so that helped me even get more energy, to be completely honest. And my coach definitely saw it as well, and he picked up on that and yelled it to me, and I just kept trying to go with that and push the pace even more. And if it went another round or two, I would have been ready to push it even more.
And do we know exactly what happened between the third and the fourth round? Was a towel thrown in, or did she just say no mas?
I think she said no mas. I really was confused as well. I wasn't expecting that. She turned away from me in the third round, so that confused me too. I've never had anybody do that when I fought them before. I've also never fought 5 rounds before, so I don't know if she's never done that before. She must have been pretty exhausted, and I guess she just couldn't do anymore.
Well, I think that's also a natural instinct when, you don't want to go down, so you just kind of turn away. I found myself doing it in training as well. So the fight ends. You're probably a little bit excited, a little bit relieved. You guys are in there all taking pictures. How did it feel to win a championship?
It felt pretty good, actually. Of course, it felt great. I kind of felt like I would have wanted it to go another round, though, as weird as that is, because I trained for 5 rounds. I put in a lot of hard work for that. We did that even before my other fight that I had the last week. We just kept doing 5 rounds because we knew that I was going to have a 5-round fight for the title. And I kind of wish I could have gone another round or two. I was ready for it, and I wanted to prove myself. But still, winning off of 3 rounds is pretty good.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think you had a very good performance. You were very consistent. You seemed to not worry. Your conditioning looked good, and you said you had a fight the previous week?
Yes, I did. I had it the Saturday before in Kansas, actually, Wichita, Kansas.
What organization was that for?
That was for Evolution Fighting Championships.
Well, how'd you like Kansas?
It was a lot of fun, actually. It was good. It was flat,
Yeah.
but it was nice out there, and they took care of us, and everybody was extremely positive, and it was nice to be around all of them.
Now, was that also a Muay Thai fight?
Yes, it was. Yep.
Is that a pretty big area for Muay Thai?
Yeah, it looks like it is for Muay Thai and MMA. It seemed to be a pretty big promotion.
Very cool. I'll have to find a link for that, and I'll put that in the show notes.
Awesome.
How many fights have you had?
After Friday, that was 5. I'm 5-0.
Now, is that just Muay Thai, or have you had any MMA or boxing?
No, just Muay Thai. I only did one MMA smoker, which, there's no winners or losers. It doesn't go on a record. I was just trying it out. I figured if I didn't do it, I would never get in a cage or a ring. And it was actually a pretty good experience, too.
What does the future hold for you? Are you going to continue to fight as an amateur, or what are your aspirations?
Oh, that's a good question. I definitely need to do many more amateur fights before I could ever consider going above amateur. I definitely feel like I have a lot more to learn and experience on that level. And I feel like, I started rather late in life, but I really enjoy it. So I'd like to keep going for a little bit longer at least and see where it goes.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I will be 30 in September.
And are those 5 fights from the approximately the last year, or how long have you been competing?
About the last 2 years.
Before this event, your name had sounded familiar. Were you ever in talks with fighting for Extreme Combat in the past?
No, actually, I've never fought for her before. I know other people who have fought for her, so it might be from that. A lot of the fighters that go over there and fight for her I've met before.
How about your training camp and your gym, Baan Muay Thai? Can you tell me a little bit about that and your training schedule?
Yeah, that's actually it's an extremely intense training. The schedule that I try to have for my fight camps is pretty much training 6 days a week for upwards of 3+ hours, and I try to run, depending on the weather, of course, and everything. I try to run at least 5 times a week when I have fight camp. It's intense. I have to diet as well, and it feels very stressful when I'm doing it, but it's how I have to get prepared for the fight. Yeah,
absolutely. The more you put into it, the more it becomes meaningful to you, and when you're tired or hurt, it gives you more incentive to fight back. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely the whole idea between, putting yourself through an intense training camp. Can you tell us a little bit about your coach?
Yeah, Krumar Clem. He is an amazing coach. Absolutely amazing. Kills me every time he trains me for fights. But, it is what it is. I got to do it. He knows his stuff. He really does, and he knows how to push you, and he's right there with you the entire time. He pretty much on top of me my entire fight camp.
Would you say he's more of like a mental coach, or more physical?
In terms of like.
Okay, so he kind of plays those mind games and puts you in situations where you have to think your way out.
Yeah, he definitely does that. He's definitely both. He gets you mentally ready for it as well as physically.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you started training in Muay Thai and what made you want to compete?
Oh yeah, sure. When I was younger, I did some karate in my life, and I always liked doing martial arts, but in karate we don't do a lot of combat. We don't, it's not very physical. It's very controlled, just not physical. So I really wanted to do something that was more, you actually hit each other and you're in the moment. And I met someone who showed me Muay Thai, and there was an instructor in the area. And so I started it, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was intense. I got to do sparring, which was great. my instructor, I didn't see him after a while. He kind of disappeared on me. So I met Mark, one of the ladies that I trained with back home, brought me to Boston, where he was teaching out of, and introduced me to him. And it was an amazing training session. And his wife is actually from my hometown, so she started coming up to Lebanon, New Hampshire, and teaching a seminar about, every other week or so. And at the time, I wasn't there as often. I actually went to Thailand because I decided I really wanted to go. I just needed to check it out for myself. And I went for about a month and trained, and then I came back, and he decided to move to the area with his wife and family. And I ended up training with him and taking on a fight, and it was the best decision ever.
Would you say that martial arts and Muay Thai something recreational, or do you think it's just like the kind of lifestyle that you just want to lead?
Well, it's good to keep me fit, obviously, but it's definitely more of a lifestyle because you have to really commit if you're going to fight. You have to commit a lot of time, a lot of energy. You got to take time from everything else. So if you're going to be doing it, it's definitely more of a lifestyle than just for fun, although it is fun too.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about was the traditional, I don't even know if I'm going to be calling this the right thing, the traditional dance. I've seen it before, but it's just something. I haven't trained in I haven't trained in Muay Thai. I've trained Muay Thai techniques, if that that's my interpretation of how I've trained.
Yep.
So can you tell me a little bit about that traditional dance and what it means, and I don't know, maybe where you learned it and why you do it before a fight?
I actually learned it specifically for that title fight. It is a traditional dance that the fighter will do before fighting as a way of kind of giving thanks to the family, their coach, to everybody for helping him get that far, helping him or her, and just to show them, thank you for doing this for me and putting me here.
Is that something that you maybe learned in Thailand, or did you learn it here through Crew Mark?
I learned it here through Crew Mark, but it's a traditional thing that they do in Thailand.
All right. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to ask you. Let me flip back to my notes here. So a little while ago when you called, you were on your way to dinner. Yeah, and by the way, I was putting videos on TV for my kids. I had my phone in my hand. It didn't ring, but the notification comes up for, you have a message. So I listened to it, and then I was like, all right, I got to put my kids to bed. They were on their way anyway. I figured I'd text you back. You were at dinner. What was this, like a celebration dinner or something, or was this just kind of like just going to get something to eat?
Yeah, I'm actually in transit right now. I decided to go on a little bit of a mini vacation, and I'm driving out to Nebraska to visit one of my best friends from high school. So this is just me stopping and needing to get dinner. Oh,
okay. I didn't know if you're like, I finally made weight and I won a championship. I'm going to go out and eat this and that.
That's been happening. That's definitely been happening.
Yeah, you fight at Strawweight. Is that there like a big weight cut?
It's not huge. It is a little bit hard because, I have a lot of muscle, and at that weight, I don't have much fat left on me. Mm-hmm. But it's not too bad. It's doable.
So, future plans. Do you have anything coming up after your vacation?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to ask my coach that. He'll probably tell me in about, 2 months. But I'm thinking probably at the end of the summer would be good for me to have another fight.
What's the furthest you've had to travel for competition?
Kansas was the farthest.
Okay. Is there any place that you would like to go to compete?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would like to go to New York again. I fought at Friday Night Fights before. That was my debut fight, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and it's also a very competitive area for Muay Thai over there, so it's a big challenge if I go there and fight.
Was that down in New York City?
Yeah.
Whereabouts? Do you remember the name of the venue?
I think it was Broad Street Ballroom.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I'm originally from Long Island, so I'm pretty familiar with New York City. Yeah, that's pretty cool. How about your other fights?
I fought in Rhode Island before, and I've also fought for Lion Fights. Was the fight before Kansas? It was down in Foxwood Casino.
Lion Fights. That's a big one, huh?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was awesome.
And they're just a strictly Muay Thai kickboxing organization?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. You must have had a lot of exposure at that event.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was just huge.
Did you make any contacts and any more fights through them?
Usually I kind of leave that to my coach a little bit more because he's very good at doing his homework on my opponents and everything. So he'll talk to the promoters and figure out if they have anybody for me, and then he'll look them up and see if it's a good matchup or not, and then we'll decide from there.
It's always nice when you don't have to do any of those managerial things. All you have to do is, just show up and train and compete. So it sounds like you have a good camp and a good coach. How about the boy that was in your corner?
Oh, that's Kingston. That's Mark's son.
I'll tell you, he was a hit at that show. Everybody noticed him, and he looks like he's bred for it. Very comfortable. He's putting his hands up for all the pictures and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's gonna be a killer when he starts fighting.
Appreciate you taking the time for the interview. And are there any sponsors that you wanna mention?
Oh well, because I'm still fighting on the amateur level. I don't think I really have any sponsors. All I can think of is Baan Muay Thai, my gym that I train out of. It is an amazing gym. I have amazing teammates who are very supportive for me, like physically, mentally, and emotionally, and just my family for putting up with me, and just everybody who comes to watch me fight and is supportive.
Sounds good. Well, I look forward to following your amateur career and anything further if you choose to go professional. You're obviously a very good fighter, and you very clearly take it seriously. And it was an excellent fight, very entertaining, and it was entertaining because it was competitive. So it was a very cool fight. Congratulations on the championship.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Maria Kritikos, Baan Muay Thai, Lebanon, New Hampshire. She's on vacation. Big win. Some R&R. Congratulations, Maria. Excellent fight. I look forward to watching you in the future. And I hope you come back and fight in New York, especially at a place where I can go and watch again. I don't know what else to say. Great job. And thank you very much for your time and sharing a little bit about yourself and Baan Muay Thai. Now, I did not know this, but this will be Maria's second podcast in about a week. Just while I was trying to get some links to put in the show notes, I found a podcast by a gentleman named Andrew Duncan, who's also on SoundCloud. So there's about a 12.5-minute interview with Maria. I'm actually going to throw a link to that in the show notes as well. So you can get a double dose of Maria this week. And also, while you're at it, you might as well subscribe to Andrew Duncan. He's got a couple of other cool interviews on there. I just hit the follow button on SoundCloud, so I'm going to get notified of all his upcoming podcasts. And he's had 3 in the last week. I know I'm doing something right when I reach out to a fighter like Maria to get an interview and have her come on the podcast, because I know other people are trying to get her as well. So your winner by TKO in the 4th round, Maria Kritikos of Baan Muay Thai. She defeats Kristina Lafferty of Combat Fitness to capture the inaugural New England Women's Strawweight Muay Thai Championships. And now, the exciting conclusion, the second part to the Garrett Roche Colosseum Fighting Alliance interview and introduction. So episode 10, which was released last week, kind of delved into the story behind Garrett Roche and Colosseum Fighting Alliance. The reason I broke it up into 2 parts was I felt that I could split it up because they were 2 different portions of that interview. So there was the story of how it became, and now here is what is to come. He alludes to a lot of things in the second half of this interview. So if you haven't listened to episode 10 yet, it's always available on SoundCloud and iTunes. The same place that you found the link for this show will have the link for episode 10, Garrett Roche, Colosseum Fighting Alliance, Part 1. Then come back and listen to this one. So be sure to check out the show notes and get in contact with him if you have any questions. And also, I'm always here too. You can always hit me up, plattsburghcombatsports@hotmail.com, and I'll answer any of your questions, or I can point you in the right direction for any of my guests that I've had on the show. So without further ado, Part 2, Garrett Roche, Colosseum Fighting Alliance, President.
Definitely see and feel the difference just in the way things were going.
How about legislature in New York? How has the legalization affected your future plans?
We had certain things set in motion already. With New York, we kind of tiptoed around the subject in New York only because at the time when we first started this, again, like I said, we were going to launch here in PA. With the anticipation of New York, not, it's going to happen this year, and then it's January 1st, and we're like, well, it didn't happen last year. I've been watching it. My partners up there have been watching it, more closely, clearly than I have. They actually had the state senator in and did an interview, a televised, I think it was streamed online interview at their gym with one of the state senators. But they did an interview with him. Talk with him about legalization, and this was middle to end of last year. I think third quarter of last year they did that. So, as far as that stuff goes, they were actively involved with it. Not to the extent of somebody, not as publicized as somebody like Weidman or the Kritikos or any of that stuff. I think it's a victory. I want to see how it goes as far as, what the governing body has to, what the athletic commission is going to have to say, stipulations, insurance regulations. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. It's not, people are dancing in the streets, and I'm happy. It's cause for celebration. People are up there dancing in the streets. For me not being up there, I'm more of unbiased, really, in several topics up there, because I'm not from there. I don't know people from there. The only people I know up there are the people I choose to know up there and the people I associate with through business. But from an outside third party kind of view, I'm happy. I have a business interest in New York now, so I'm happy. An MMA business interest in New York. I'm happy. However, I'm not dancing in the streets because until that committee's formed and rules and guidelines are set in place, nobody's really going to know what the deal is.
I think even when the UFC goes in and does a show, UFC keeps a lot of their inner workings kind of quiet and kind of behind closed doors. I think once the smaller promotions get in and, fail or succeed, that's when the doors are going to really open. Somebody's got to do it, and then everyone else will just, have a better idea.
There's always a guinea pig in every situation, whether you like to admit it or not. Sometimes you're that guinea pig. You don't realize it until after it's over. I do, like I said, and I know there's two sets of criteria that this commission's going to look at when they start granting licenses for promoting. There's going to be those that are doing the blood work. There's going to be those that are running the show fairly close to what a commission would run the show. And then there's those guys that are, they're making effort and they're doing stuff, but they're really not doing what they're supposed to or all that they can to ensure fighter safety. And at the end of the day, it's a successful show if nobody's seriously injured. I'm not talking gate. I don't care. I don't care. This isn't my full-time job. I have a full-time job. This is a hobby that turned into a business. So at this, when I say, and Steven Zacharaskis can tell you this, Eddie Hawes can tell you this, Put it this way, we had so much positive feedback on our Facebook page that we felt it was necessary to thank the fighters anyways. We put that out on our Facebook page, and that video is available on the Colosseum Facebook page. Like, nothing but positive feedback from seasoned veterans. I mean, there was a guy at our show who just a few weeks ago was cornering one of his other fighters at the UFC. So there's guys from all different layers and levels of the game, and there's detractors, man. There's people that are going to run their mouth. There's guys that aren't doing it like we're doing it. I don't know their names. I don't care to know their names. I know there's rampant promoting in New York. There's guys getting in cages. There's guys getting in rings with no blood work, running the risk of ruining the rest of their life because they wanted an amateur fight. And that's their own decision. If they choose to go with the promoter that does that, that's their own decision. When they come to CFA, blood work's taken care of. You know you're not getting into a cage with a guy that could potentially use a needle on the weekends and have something in it. It's out there. I'm just saying, it could happen. It's feasible. We're not doing it like that. So when the commissions go to say, okay, this is our track record, this is what we've done since day one, you know, at the end of the day, we'll see what's what. But like I said, I'm fairly certain that the commission is going to look on promotions that are doing the right thing in their absence with a high regard. Like I said, I'm down here in PA. We probably have one of the strictest MMA commissions in the country. Greg Serb is the commissioner's name down here, and he runs it. But I have the utmost respect for Serb. He has his ways, and I don't agree with some of the ways he does it, but I'm also not the commissioner. But fighter safety is paramount to Greg Serb. You know, when we like I said, when we put on a show in an area where it's a sanctioning body, and there's not very many of them anymore, we bring that sanctioning body in. It's a sanctioned event. Medicals, doctors, cut men, the best we can get, not just the $295 an hour ambulance rental. You know, it's the, and again, like I said, I don't know who's doing what up there. I'm not up there. I don't care to know. Like, I run my race. I don't run everybody else's races. Let them do their thing. We're going to do our thing, and in a year, 18 months, we'll see where we're at.
So, next show, Latham, New York, June 11th?
Yes, sir. First fight's at 7.
Do you know who the main event is?
We're working on it. All I can say is the Zakaraskis fight and the Eddie Hawes, our last two main events, are two, which, you know, coincidentally are two title fights. They were, if we were able to and wanting to and physically capable and legally capable of doing, like, bonuses, those guys would have got bonuses. But they're not paid, they're amateurs, so we cannot do that. Had we been in a legal capability to give these guys bonuses based on their performance, I feel they would have got bonuses. That's how good. I put Eddie's belt on him, and I tapped Eddie on the shoulder. Not knowing Eddie, I've never met Eddie. I've done a few Facebook conversations with Eddie and Steven as well prior to this. Like I said, I had no vested interest in any of this. I don't know any of these guys. I tapped Eddie on the shoulder. I said, you keep doing performances like that, we're going to keep calling you. And I said the same thing to Steven. It was a barn burner, both of them.
Yeah, man, that's cool. And Steve looked pretty rough after that fight, too. So I've been in contact with him before, and I know he's a tough guy. And you know, he had a good performance. I don't know if you know, but he fought the other night. He had a very good performance. He came out looking a lot better, too. It was only 26 seconds.
Yeah, it feels like a 26-second knockout. And, hey, not to take anything away from any of our, like, I don't care if you win or lose. Like, you train, you made weight, you went in there, you did the thing. Props to you. And for the guys that lost, train your ass off and come back. If you want to grow and you want to build your brand and you want to build as a fighter, we're here to help you do that. You know, so there's losses in life. Take one on the chin. You know, man's not judged by what knocks him down. It's judged by what he does when he gets back up. Get back up, dust yourself off, hit the gym, come back. We're glad to have you. If you need help with something, if you have questions, you know, we're here. Like, our Facebook response time is crazy because if you message us on our Facebook page, one of us is hitting you back. So, I mean, that we're here, like, I can't stress it enough. We're fighter safety, and I'm not going into details because every Joe Schmo that listens to your podcast that has a promotion is going to be doing it, but there's going to be things coming up, events, promotion stuff. There's going to be opportunities for our fighters to get out there and you know, to grow as a brand, to build themselves as a brand, not just a fighter. It's 2016. The fight game isn't about checking leg kicks and throwing combos. You got to be able to sell yourself. You got to be able to market yourself. You got to know how to look for sponsors. You got to know where to look for sponsors. You got to know contractual stuff. You should know all this stuff. And this is the stuff that we're concentrating on top of the go to your coaches, let them train you. And this is not stuff that we're doing as it's third party stuff. It's not, you know, this is stuff we're doing to help our fighters grow. Just like the UFC is building that new campus with sports medicine place in it. I'm brain frozen right now. You know, for athletes to rehab and stuff in that facility. Like, that's what we're doing on a smaller scale. You know, we're investing in our fighters. You know, there's going to be, when we get to the point where we're going to be doing pro and stuff down here in other states, and you know, they're you know, when we get to that level, there will be contracts. We're gonna, you know, this isn't some fly by night, put up a cage in a fire hall type thing. This is, you know, we're poised and we're prepared and we're ready and we're planning to be an evolution in the East Coast MMA scene, and eventually, you know, but we're not looking ahead of June 11th right now. June 11th is, again, that's number one priority right now. After June 11th, then we work on, you know, August. We're in talks right now to do a September show here in PA.
And how much are tickets for Latham?
I don't know if we're still in the process because some stuff changed with our seating and stuff like that. So we're still finalizing the fight card. We're working diligently to get the fight card and the finalization of the seating arrangements for the show on June. I know the last show, balcony seats were like $20, and there was a general ad, so not terribly priced. Don't quote me on the 20 as the balcony seat. That was for the April show. I know we want to make it affordable. We want families to be able to come out. We want, there's going to be some tables for sale. Some fighters gobbled up some tables last time. So, I mean, there's going to be a variety of stuff where we're at. Like I said, the track seats up top, man, you could see from pretty much anywhere in the arena except for like the far end you could see, but we're going to be changing the flooring setup, the seating setup and stuff up right now to kind of try and work in some of the numbers that we had last time, and we're projecting ahead and trying to figure out what we're, the game, man. It's nothing set in stone. So, but I will get all that information to you so you can post it for the listeners. I might even be able to get it to you as you post. Let me see, guys. It's still Monday, so we're going to be diligently working on that throughout the week to get that finalized here. Trying to do a content drop on Wednesday. I don't know when you're going to air this, but Colosseum Fighting Alliance on Facebook is like our main hub. We're still in the process of kind of figuring in the website with everything. It's framed out. We're going to be adding more and more content as we progress. But I can tell you, Corey Reynolds won his last fight excellent fashion. I know I'm going to give you like a tidbit here. I'm pretty sure he's locked in for a title fight. So Corey Reynolds from that area, he's on Facebook and Instagram. You can look him up. Tagged in some of the Colosseum picks. If you get on Colosseum Fighting Alliance, hit like, share it with your friends. I know he's locked in for a title fight. I don't know if his opponents come back yet, but like I said, it's within this next week. We're gonna have some major content dropping on the Facebook page, and in the coming weeks, we're in the process right now of setting up some live video interviews through everything, again, through our Facebook page. So much content goes through there. If you like it, and follow it on Facebook. People will be able to keep up to date on what's going on in the world of CFA. We're going to be doing some live streams with the current champs, and as soon as the number one contenders are locked in for said titles, we're going to be doing some feature stuff with them on the page. There will be some fights streamed directly to our Facebook page. We're still in the process of kind of tightening more details up, but I can guarantee you we had a little bit of streaming content last time. We're going to have live streaming from the fights. So I hope everybody can come buy a ticket, but if you can't come buy a ticket, if it doesn't suit you or you're too far away, please like the Facebook page, and there will be some entertaining content for you people.
And how about if somebody wants to fight for CFA? What is it that you want them to have when they come to you? You want them to have medicals? Do you want them to have prior competitive experience?
If they fought in an unsanctioned event with no blood work, it says it right. Matter of fact, I'll read you verbatim from our page, because that's the last update we had as far as what we were changing it to. But basically, we welcome everybody, man, from all disciplines. There's a fighter info page as far as name, weight class, what your background is, what your base is. Medicals must have not been used at an unsanctioned event prior to fighting for us, and new medicals will be needed before you'll be allowed to fight. Picture yourself and fight stance, and just regular generics, your name, your record, your weight, what gym you train out of, so we can contact your coach, because everything's run through the coaches, of course. And, just a little bit about yourself as far as like your background, wrestling base, jiu-jitsu, whatnot, how many years of each, so we can equally, that's what it's about. It's not leading sheep to slaughter. It's not putting this 0-1 guy that still flinches at a punch against, maybe another 0-1 guy that should have won his fight but lost because of a stupid mistake. Maybe not even a stupid mistake, but an amateur mistake that he might not make ever again. We're not leading sheep to slaughter. We try and do the best possible job we can of matchmaking, because it boils down again to fighter safety. I don't want a guy in there getting mauled. It's not good for our, it's not good for our brand. It's not good for the fighter. It's not good for, and it's not good for the guy that pummels him either. Because why, if he's that serious about fighting, why, don't put him in there with a newbie. Matchmake these guys the way they're supposed to get matchmade. 20-second knockouts, 13-second knockouts are going to happen.
And they should, if guys are training like they want to go professional.
Exactly. Now, should a 26-second knockout occur on a debut fight? No. Depends on the circumstances. However, if 6 out of the 10 of your fights are 26-second knockouts, that's bad matchmaking. And it might not to take anything away from whoever's matchmaker. It's not, it could be an unseasoned matchmaker. It really could be luck of the draw, but I really seriously don't believe that much in coincidences that 6 out of the 10 guys on your card don't even last 30 seconds because of a fluke knockout.
Yeah, and even in the boxing world, I go back to the Arturo Gatti and the Mickey Ward fight. People would say they had 3 classic, awesome fights, and it's not that they were the 2 best guys in the world. They were just matched very well. So, there's an example of, just good matchmaking, and it worked out for everybody. Because, the first time I saw that fight, I was like, wow, these guys are amazing. They're absolutely incredible. And it's like, well, they got dominated here and they got dominated there by the guys who were the best in the world, but they were matched so well that it was so entertaining. And they got 3 classic fights out of it.
It's going to happen. I mean, you look at the dismantling of Renan Barão by T.J. Dillashaw. He ended the second fight, I believe, with a 27-punch combo. Again, when you get to that level, there's not really... Joe Silva's the best in the business. There's bad matchmaking in the UFC, but I don't know if it's necessarily bad matchmaking. I mean, when you're matchmaking at the level that that, we're at, or even a little bit higher up into the regionals, you're going to have some here where, probably shouldn't have put them guys together. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, it's he signed off, especially at that pro level. Do you want to fight this guy? Yeah, okay. There's going to be guys that are taking the fight, and there's going to be guys that say, hell no, I'm not fighting that guy. I'm not there yet.
I think it happens very, very seldom where guys really don't want to fight somebody and they get them in the cage together. Now, they've got to agree. And if there's any reservations, there's examples of guys turning down fights and opportunities that they could have taken to get their career forward. And it's like, well, no, they just didn't feel like they were ready. They're not forced in there.
And honestly, you shouldn't be. If you have good matchmaking, only goes so far. If you have a good coach and you have good management, when you get to that level, it's all about the management. I mean, because when you get to that level, your coach only says so much. You know what I'm saying? Your coach, again, back to what we were talking about earlier, your coach is only one piece of the pie. Jackson Winklejohn, superb. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff from their new facility. New facility is amazing. I'm dying to go out there. Just for like a weekend, just to train there, just to go, to experience it. But, they tell their fighters what they think, they give their opinion, they're coaches. But at the end of the day, when you get to that level, management has a say. You ultimately have the say, but you got management in your ear, you have a coach in your ear, you might have an assistant in your ear. There's so many different points of view coming at you that I really think, and to go back to the Holly-Ronda fight, I think that I'm not making excuses because I'm a Ronda fan, but I think that had everything leading up to that had a good bit to do with it. All the outside influence, all the media obligations, all the movie stuff. Like you can't, just like they say, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the cage. You got to be 100% committed, and you can't be 100% committed to 6 different things. Even if you could be the most meticulous planner in the world, something's going to suffer.
Yeah, there's too much stuff that's not within your control.
So, yeah. So, I mean, again, it boils down to you got to play your own cards, man. You can take into consideration what you think everybody else has in their hand, but you have to play your own cards. And again, there's some stuff on the table right now we're talking about moving forward. That's like we want to help these guys make smart and good decisions as far as like how they're going to build themselves up. If we have a guy that fights for us once and misses weight, is the thing to do tell him not to fight for us anymore because he can't make weight, or he missed weight once, he missed weight twice? Is the right thing to do to shut this guy down and say, he's not fighting for us anymore? So then he goes fights for one of them Joe Schmo promotions that doesn't take care of its fighters the way, and he just keeps missing weight, or he sucks himself out so bad that he collapses on the day of weigh-ins or needs an IV or something. No, we sit him down. We say, what do you think your issues are? Let's get you in touch with somebody that can help, figure this problem out. Even if it's, one of our guys just giving him a few words or a few moments of their time, or swapping a cell phone number and saying, hey, you got any questions, call me. We're still making an effort to solve the problem for this kid, because he can't, when you get to that level, you can't be missing weight. And not only that, it's not even about when he gets to that level. That's not safe, man. Because guys miss weight enough, they get desperate, and then they want to suck it out. And then once they suck it out so bad that they're either A, walking around with an IV, or B, not able to fully recover, and then what? And then you get your ass kicked in the cage, and why? Because you were sucked out, because you don't know the proper regimen, because whoever's not helping you, or your coaching staff isn't the greatest, or they got a lot going on and they're dealing with pro fighters, so they can't deal with you, AME guy. There's so many different variables, but that's, again, just one example of the type of little things that we are prepared to do to help our guys out.
That sounds like an organization that I'd want to get involved in. I got some college wrestling experience, and one of the things that my head coach would always tell us, and he did it when I wrestled for him, was you want to take everything, every obstacle away from the athlete, so that all they have to do is perform, make weight and perform. But you don't want them to worry about paperwork, records, seating information, meals. You don't rest. The only thing they got to do is make weight and perform. And when you develop a rapport and relationship and some trust with the athletes, they're gonna perform better for you. So, I mean, it really seems like you and your team are on your way to building a very, very notable organization.
That's what we're hoping, Frank. Like I said, on multiple fronts. I really, again, June 11th main priority, but going down the road, you kind of set out your game plan. You might not act on it. You kind of set out the framework for, okay, where should we be in a year? Where should we be in 18 months? And we kind of joked about it last time, but hey, it'd be nice to, pack this stuff in up here on a late Saturday night, go do our thing that week, and then the following week be down here. And then, it'd be nice to do, and you can't inundate it, because when you flood the market, supply and demand, you can't, is there such a thing as too much MMA? I don't know. I might be the only one standing in the arena watching these guys go at it, but that's where we're at, and it's universal across the board. It's get these guys the help from the top tier guys, from the upper tier guys. When stuff goes down, they know they're prepared for it because they've already been instructed in that. And not for nothing, I don't know. Like I said, we don't know the landscape. It's too early to tell in New York, but I don't know if we're going to have any pro shows in New York. But we're going to have We're going to start having pro shows down here, PA, when we get to PA. And again, these are going to fight your fight. You're the second card on the show. Fight your fight. Go take your pictures. Cut your, go do any interviews you have to do, any media you have to do. Go handle it. Come back, sit down, and watch the pros work. See see these guys. See their regimen. You're going to be in the locker room, and that's another thing too. I want the pro guys in the locker room with the amateur guys when we start doing these mixed cards, especially down here, because take it all in, and that's what I'm going to tell them. I told guys, I'm like, just grind, train your ass off, and just enjoy the ride, man. Take it in, have fun. When you stop having fun, it's going to be an issue for you. Have fun, enjoy it, and when you see these pro guys come in, and you see their warm up regimen, or you see, hey man, hey, I like what you're doing over there with your last little bit of your weight cut. Any tips? That's the little things. And that's kind of where we're at, man.
Cool. I've had you for well over an hour. Going on an hour and 10 minutes. What's the call to action? Where do we go? Where does the listener go from here?
Any fighters that want to fight, fighter info section at ColosseumFightingAlliance.com. Main hub of activity, Facebook.com/Colosseum Fighting Alliance, or just search Colosseum Fighting Alliance, COLOSSEUM. I've seen some interesting spellings for Colosseum. COLOSSEUM Fighting Alliance. Best way to get a hold of us, Instagram. We're doing content more around shows now when we do content drops. But it's Colosseum Fighting Alliance MMA. At Colosseum Fighting Alliance MMA on Instagram. Working on the Twitter and the Snapchat thing right now. We're going to get back with that, but that'll be all over social media, so if you follow one, you should be able to get the rest of them. Any contact information is on Facebook. June 11th, doors, first fight's at 7. I want to say doors are at 6:30, but they might be at 6. If there's a line around the block, it's my fault.
It's a good problem to have.
ABC Sports and Fitness, Latham, New York, June 11th. Facebook will have all the information, all the content. Frank, if you haven't liked it already, go like it. Kindly urge your listeners. We greatly appreciate your support. Without the fans coming to the shows to see the fighters that are working their ass off for us, we got nothing. So, again, that last Facebook video, Frank, if you haven't seen it, jump on there. Check it out. Feel free to share. Our fighters appreciate us, and we appreciate our fighters, man. And when you come with us, you're not just getting the cage door locked behind you and then sent home when you're done. It's an experience, and you're gonna get stuff out of it more than I feel you would at some other venues, some other promotions. And like I said, everybody's running their own race. We're just running ours. But I'm going to quote it now. Look for 12 or 18 months in the future. You're going to see us doing stuff, and then you're going to see other people up there doing stuff. Just remember who did it first. That's all I got to say.
Garrett, thank you very much for all your time coming on and telling us all about it. Next time you have an announcement, please hit me up, and we'll record it, and I'll put out a little mini episode, and I'll share that around as well.
Definitely, Frank. We're acquainted on Facebook now, so I will keep up with you. Like I said, like the page. That's where we're at. Any questions or whatever, you know how to get a hold of me, Frank. Everybody else, again, social media, best way to reach us. Greatly appreciate your time, Frank. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to doing it again real soon.
Garrett, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Whoa, that was a lot. That was an hour and 13 minutes, and there's a lot in there. There's a lot to digest, and definitely excited to see what is coming down the pipe with Colosseum Fighting Alliance. So, Garrett Roche, thank you very much, and we will be in contact, man. Thank you. Okay, getting back to results. New England Muay Thai Championships brought to you by UVM Judo Club and Extreme Combat Promotions. So we talked about featherweight. Ali Abdul-Zarak defeated Rob Farr by split decision. At 155, Romano Medina defeated Ian Beatriz. I believe that was a ref stoppage in the third round. Then at 195, Derek Mounier, TKO in the third round over Jeremy John. Conor McKenna won a split decision over Trevor Woods, who was a small heavyweight, stepped up short notice. Very good fight. Actually, no losers in that fight. That was a close one to call. Co-main event was a lightweight women's Muay Thai bout. Rebecca Contrino versus Amber Thomas. Rebecca takes that one unanimous decision. And the main event, Maria Kritikos wins by TKO over Kristina Lafferty for the championship belt. So congratulations to all, and congratulations to Kathy Richardson on a fantastic event, inaugural event at University of Vermont. I can't wait until the next one. That's the second college that she's been to. So we've been to Norwich, now University of Vermont. So we're going to see big things happening in Vermont with Extreme Combat. So then I made my way up to a town in south of Montreal called Kanawak to attend Fight Quest Amateur MMA Fighting Championships. I'm not going to go through the card like I did with Extreme Combat, but I will say it was a mostly all-Canadian card, a couple of fighters from TriStar, 3 title fights with 3 first-round finishes, and what brought me up there was another guest, Steve Zacharikis, was supposed to fight for the lightweight championship belt, but his opponent was injured, so they couldn't get him another matchup. However, his teammate, Derek Hart, who is a Spirit FC champ at featherweight, he challenged for the featherweight championship at Fight Quest, and he was doing quite well. I thought he was winning the stand-up until it got to the ground, and his opponent was able to hurt him with some strikes and was eventually able to get a guillotine choke. But it was a very good event. It was at the Knights of Columbus. It was pretty small. It was maybe 200 seats, probably about 8 tables, a nice big octagon cage, pretty well run, full bar, and something I would definitely go back to. All right, let's see what else we've got before we wrap up. Let's go back to the calendar. Upcoming events. We have Victory in American Fighting Alliance presents Can-Am MMA Championships, Watertown, New York, at the Watertown Fairground Arena. Doors open at 5, fights start at 6, and that is Saturday. Tickets start at $20. Looks like a huge event. It's going to be very well attended, I'll tell you that. If you want to be in a big arena with a loud crowd, this is the one. It is worth the trip. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for Can-Am MMA. Check it out. It's got a poster for every single matchup. I believe there's 12 fights, 14 fights, and more on that at the end of this little closing. The following weekend, Extreme Combat, Rouse's Point, New York, May 21st. Grappling match between my buddy Dakota Jagir and TJ George, who is on a roll. So that should be a good grappling match. And the main event I can't get enough of. I'm kicking myself. I'm going to be out of town for this one. That's going to be between Brett Trahan from Team Link and Jason LePage from Spirit FC. Also on that card is a pretty big rematch. It's going to be Nick Prenovo, he's a Plattsburgh guy, versus Dylan Bishop. They fought about a year and change ago, and with Dylan Bishop scoring a knockout. But don't sleep on Nick Prenovo. Then we got Dan Russell versus Cody Allen. That's a contender match for bantamweight. Another bantamweight contender is Zach Ayotte, another Plattsburgh guy, versus Napoleon Meth. Nathan Booten returns at heavyweight. Hey Nathan, I work with your Uncle Ron. Mike DeRozier in a grappling match against Andrew Provost. He's a good old buddy of mine, good training partner, and former Burlington Brawl welterweight champion. So top to bottom, excellent card. And that's XCP Rouse's Point Border Wars. Also on the calendar. Where's my calendar? Cage Combat, Fight for the Troops, May 28th, Saratoga Springs City Center. And then we got June 4th in Barrie, Extreme Combat. July 2nd, St. Albans, Extreme Combat. Colosseum Fighting Alliance, June 11th. Extreme Combat, Rutland, July 16th. Williamsburg, August 6th. Lyndonville, September 3rd. And back to Rouse's Point, September 10th. Those last few were Extreme Combat. Let's see. What else? Beach event. Tentative date, July 30th. Plattsburgh City Beach. More information to come. I'll put a link in the show notes. Check out this YouTube video. Beach wrestling. You got to be in shape for it. You just got to go out and throw people in the sand. It'll be a nice day at the beach. Get some competition. It's all takedowns. There's no ground. Just throws. Best 2 out of 3 or throw to their back. So all you jiu-jitsu guys, there's no pull and guard. You got to go out and headlock people. Also, push-outs count. So check out the videos. There's lots of them online on YouTube. Beach Wrestling, Plattsburgh, July 30th. More information on that to come. Also, who's going to fight TJ George? Will somebody please tell me? Is he really going to be the guy who can't get a fight? I mean, we ought to put odds on not who's going to beat him, but who's going to fight him. We had a couple of drops for various reasons. You know, everybody's reasons are their own. But, come on, if you're going to take a fight, then take the fight. Please, somebody. And last but not least, certainly not least, I mentioned a moment ago, Victory Fighting Alliance. Watertown, New York, this Saturday, May 14th. I'm dropping this podcast on Wednesday, May 11th, and hopefully podcast episode 12 tomorrow, Thursday, May 12th. And I will have none other than Victory Fighting Alliance promoter and matchmaker, John Gibbons. And he's going to tell you all about their organization. And it's a fine organization. I've had the pleasure of having 2 competitors in 2 of their events. They were excellent. They get a lot of Canadian fighters. And as I mentioned a couple of times on this podcast, this is a Can-Am, so there's going to be Can-Am champions where Canadians are fighting our Americans, and there's going to be another featherweight championship for the organization. Now, John is on. I interviewed John. He's going to be on the next episode. He's going to tell us all about. There's several title fights, and they're all good matchups. Episode 12 coming your way, John Gibbons. And I am Frank Palumbo, PCS MMA. The show is Podcast Combat Sports. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on SoundCloud and iTunes to get weekly episodes automatically downloaded to your iPhone, iPod, or any mobile device you choose. Hell, download the SoundCloud app and subscribe that way. Additionally, you can check us out on Instagram and YouTube. I'm going to be building that YouTube channel up over this summer with podcasts, beach wrestling videos, some other wrestling stuff, some highlight stuff. So check all that stuff out, man. Support the show. And if you have any announcements, you want to call someone out, you got any news, you want to make an announcement on your fight, hit me up on any of those social medias. But the best way is Plattsburgh Combat Sports at hotmail.com. Goes right to my phone. I'll answer you right away. So thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe. I got some stuff coming out for the fighters pretty soon. Listen to the next episode. Hit me up if you have any questions, concerns, comments. And I'm going to leave you with an extra little tidbit between me and Garrett Roche, Colosseum Fighting Alliance president, not CEO. I made a mistake in last week's show notes. But until next episode, ciao, Laboratory. Hello, is Garrett there? Hey, how you doing? And where are you at?
5.5 hours south of like the Albany area. So I know you're a little bit north of Albany, right?
Yeah, I'm about 2.5 hours north of Albany, 20 minutes from the Canadian border.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're way up. You're way up in the Great White North.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of thought that you were on the other side of New York State.
No, I'm actually down. No, I'm down in PA. Yeah, I'm down here south. I'm literally an hour north of Baltimore, 2 hours west of Philly, 3.5 hours south of Binghamton, straight down.
I went to college over by like Rochester, New York.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm originally from the Bronx. I lived down there till I was 12. I had cousins out on the island, lived out in Westbury. So we were out Jones Beach, and then as I got to be a teenager, and I moved down here when I was 12, and would go back home every summer until I was like 17, and then I kind of just haven't been back since I was 17. So, but I got into my teens, we'd make friends and go out to the Hamptons, but I spent a lot of time on Jones Beach out the island and stuff. So, Nassau County, familiar with that area a little bit.
Yeah, I used to go to Jones Beach when I was a little kid. My parents used to take me.
Yeah, and I'm originally from the Bronx, probably about, 205th and Grand Concourse, probably like, I don't even know what the train ride is to Yankee Stadium, but close.
Yeah, any train ride, it's got to be pretty quick to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, basically, I mean, whatever, I'm kind of open. Whatever you lead the way, I'll, short answers. If I start rambling a little bit, I guess if you want to stop me, just stop me.
No, rambling's fine. Yeah,